serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news, opinions and information, with additional information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by whether you want to stay on the net or not. If you wish to leave immediately after checking in, then you just call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to stay, then please just wait to be acknowledged. If you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I will repeat who I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please try again, and I'll be calling for any strays, that's people who've missed their turn to call in, at the end of the UK and the international sections. So as usual, I'll start taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net in call sign number order, so any stations with figure 9 in their call sign waiting to call, check in, please call now. This is Chief RNRC. Chief RNRC, second call any stations figure 9, please call now, over. For an RC, let's have 8 stations figure 8 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G-A-E-E-Y, name is Mike and I'm staying with you.
Golf 8 Sugar Delta United, name is Bob, in and out please. For an RC, so far I've got Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee staying with me, and Bob, good afternoon to you, Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform in and out. Any other rates please, Chief for an RC, over. See, let's have 7, stations figure 7 in that call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G7NEH, good afternoon, Greg.
Sierra Delta, name is Stephen, Dane Valley Group.
Chief for NRC, so that's Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotels. Okay, Graham. Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, your initial call was very broken, so it looks like we're going to have issues with your signal through the net. Any other 7s, please, Chief for NRC, over.
Mike 7 November Delta November.
Mike 7 November Delta November, good afternoon, that's Nathan. Good afternoon to you. Okay, out of the 7s into the 6s, stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Good afternoon, this is Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. Christian Ipswich, in and out please, Greg.
Thanks, Papa Delta Echo. Good afternoon, Chris. Covered you in and out. Any other 6s, please, Chief for an RC. For an RC, nothing heard. Let's have 5 stations. Figure 5 in that call sign, please go ahead, over. have any fives in the organisation, so we'll roll straight to fours. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ, Trevor in Watford. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Philip, South Sussex.
This is G4NRC, so I've got Trevor, Golf 4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, and Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima. Any other fours, please? G4NRC, over. Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. Phil. Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, good afternoon, Phil. Copied you. Okay, let's have 3. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
Three Zulu Hotel X-Ray, good afternoon, Ian. Copy you in and out. Any other threes, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing else. Let's have 2s. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate 2s. Please call over.
Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, calling from Midway. No traffic in and out, please, Greg.
Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, good afternoon, Colin, and copied you in and out. Any other 2s, please? G4NRC, over. Not seeing anything first. Let's have 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. See second call. Any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf Mike 1, Papa India Echo. Good afternoon, Greg. It's Mike in Aberdeenshire. In and out for me, please.
Mike 1, Papa India Echo, G4NRC returning. Okay, good afternoon, Mike. Hopefully weather's been kind to you today and copied you in and out. Right, let's have Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now, over.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, East Sussex, Alan. Staying with you today, Greg.
For an RC, good afternoon, Alan. Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over? And there were none, so let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy, RAYNET Pembrokeshire. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over.
Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Andy. And copied you in and out. Thanks for being the usual tail end of the call-ins. Do we have any UK stations that missed their turn to call in, wish to do so? Please call now, over. And I'll see, then do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Sam van Stiesten of Norway, Aaron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia, Des in the Netherlands, They're the usual ones that call in. Any of our international colleagues, please. G4NRC, over. Then let's have any station that's missed their turn to call in, UK or international, please call now, G4NRC, over. For NRC, nothing heard. Okay, so usual reminder, Graham G7NEH is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 at November Echo Hotel on YouTube, and looking for past streams and the live streams happening now. We start with an acknowledgement that last week's news on YouTube achieved an all-time high of 80, that's 80 views. We don't have much of an idea why, as there is nothing in the preamble to the news or the thumbnail that might drive more viewers for a particular news item. So if anyone has any inspiration, I'd love to know. The only possibility that's crossed the minds is that there might be another video such as the one posted by G3VRC about RAYNET. It was a YouTube short, which actually hit 1,500 views this week. That might be bringing people in who go on to search RAYNET as a term, which is difficult to say. The takeaway, though, probably is that anything we put on public social media, as in private social media groups, is a shop window for our part of the hobby, and we should take full advantage of that. The 15th anniversary of Fukushima occurred last week, and that event overshadowed the earthquake and tsunami disasters which affected far wider areas on that day. On the publicity theme, this is a reminder that any examples we use of amateur radio emergency communications should be recent and timely. Things have moved on a lot in 15 years in emergency planning and response, and even more so from the major UK disasters like Lockerbie back in 1988. So to be relevant, we can't look to the past, but we must instead demonstrate what we can do now. Finally, the net next week may be problematic, with a potential clash with the Zone 10 meeting to be held on the same day, taking Graham and myself slightly out of circulation. While the meeting will be over by the time of the net, getting home in order to run the video stream and net is difficult, and running the net from a vehicle wasn't fun the last time we tried it. So I'm looking for suggestions for what to do next week, or it may be declared an ad hoc net, and you can all have a lovely unstructured Sunday chat. So with that, let's see what thoughts you've all got, starting with Mike. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8DEY. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody else on the net. Well, the weather here is taking a bit of a dive. It was a nice sunny morning and afternoon, but we've got rain due soon, and the 9.2 centigrade at 1600 will drop to about 3 degrees centigrade by 4 a.m. 1007 millibars. 77% relative humidity and total cloud cover, and a 17 mile an hour wind from 196 degrees. Yeah, well, let's see. I did notice an Ofcom discussion, stroke, consultation or whatever on Starlink ground stations. Apparently one possibly in Harlow in Essex and one in London. So be interesting to see. It does seem to be expanding from G8DEY.
G4NRC. I've just showed half a second of G8DEY there as well. Right, so yes, I did notice the Ofcom discussion on 2 additional ground stations. What goes up has to come down, and they did need more ground station capacity because if you remember a few weeks ago there was a news item where we reported a bit of a stop-sell on Starlinks in some areas because they were running out of capacity and the performance was being impacted. What's a little interesting to mooch around for is some videos on YouTube that show the ground stations in America where they are very, I want to say, lightly defended. Not really a very substantial fence around them, and if you wanted to have mischief, I'm sure it was doable, relying a little bit on security by obscurity. I don't think the UK ones will be of similar construction. I think they'll have to be more robust. Okay, thanks Mike. Let's go to Graham, who's going to look at the YouTube analytics. G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G7NEH, excuse me. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. As Greg mentioned a few minutes ago, an all-time high for our views last week. 80 views and 6 likes. So I haven't quite had a chance today of digging into the analytics. So I may come back with that on the next round. So there we go. Not a lot else to add from this end. So back round to Greg. G4NRC, G7NEH.
G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, of course, I don't see the like figures that easily. Looking at it on the phone, I probably should do. Yeah, I could only find the promoted video, as they promoted, the one that was getting a bit of likes from people from, as I say, the G3 VRC about his activities on the car event, which came out on the 8th of March, so it would have been around the same time as the news video games. That's all I can think of. One might have driven the other. Right, Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. As said, your initial audio was extremely broken, so let's see how far we get. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Very good afternoon to all on the net. Yeah, we've been doing a bit of radio while the weather was good yesterday. I went up to Frodsham Hill and parked just outside the bunker. Did a bit of 77s. G4NRC, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, dropped out there. Yeah, so they went up to the bunker on Frodsham Hill, did a bit of 77s and 4 metres, a few contacts on each. And yeah, like I say, thought I'd take advantage while the weather was good. And as you might have seen by the RAYNET news, next weekend we're doing a Foundation Amateur Radio Licence course for our cadets. So that should be interesting. It's going to be the first one in a very long time, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC returning. Excuse me, this cough bug's coming back again. Okay, yes, yesterday was definitely the day for playing radio, rather than the rather showery northwest we seem to have today. And Frodsham Bunker's coverage area is stunning, and you'll have been working from the car rather than from the antenna we used to have actually up on the masts themselves, which had even better coverage, but sadly vandalism took those away from us, along with the ongoing attempted sale of the facilities. So, however, being on that hill itself is good enough to cover most of Cheshire without stations running about half a watt, remembering 8 by Crike we did many years ago. So, good location to play from. Good luck with the foundation course next week. You can tell us on the next over whether there'll be any instant gratification. I don't think anybody gets the call sign immediately, but you'll certainly know how many passes you've got, I would hope, by the time of the net. Right, new caller into the net this time round. It's Mike 7 November Delta November. Round to you, Nathan. G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 November Delta November. Not entirely sure how all of this is going about. I am very new, obviously, to RAYNET and to ham radio itself. Weather is extremely lovely here in Liverpool, very sunny today. Has been a little bit of spots of rain, but hasn't obviously stopped me getting a nice sort of try out on the radio as well. I've only got 2 at the moment, I've got a base station. Have been obviously trying to get involved in RAYNET as much as possible. So I thought I'd obviously pop on today and introduce myself. But really nice to obviously get involved in RAYNET. I'm glad to be a member. And hopefully I'll get to obviously meet some of you soon. But yeah, this is Mike 7 November Delta November. Back to you, G4 NRC.
Mike 7 November Delta November, G4NRC returning. Okay, well, welcome to RAYNET and Liverpool RAYNET as well, I'm presuming. Yes, the weather reports are generally inflicted on me by stations to try and see how well I can log everything, because stuff is online logged, just to make sure I can copy the data fine. Yeah, the weather's doing slightly better in Liverpool than it is for me in Chester, I think. I just got all wet going out earlier. Looking at how you're showing on the dashboards, you're coming in through Brandmeister. We do have a RAYNET DMR server separately, so if at some point you want to go to the web address raynet.m0guy, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee.com, you'll be able to sign up on that, and if you've got a hotspot, you'll be able to put that on the RAYNET-UK server as well as the Brandmeister one, which would mean you'd be able to access more talk groups available for RAYNET purposes only, and Liverpool has got a moderate allocation of them. So just as showing you as a flag on the system that you're not registered to us at the moment. So yeah, welcome along. Handheld radios, you don't really need a base station, you just need a base antenna, and everything will fly after that. Given lots of stuff used to be capable of being done with low power before people got into an arms race of hunting a 50 or a 60 watt radio. Okay, moving round to Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ reply. Yes, good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else. All good signals so far. Been a fairly busy week this week. I think yesterday was the tale of 2 nets. I came on and I did hear some very, very weak stations on 7113, but under the not readable, right under the local noise, which was running at about S6. So I popped off to 60 metres, I think just after 5 past, and gave a call, and Philip came back to me and we had a quick chat, but the conditions there weren't brilliant either. I think Philip was copying me better than I was copying him. He was hovering around noise level and then going down and below it with QSB. But seeing the reports, I obviously missed the time when the more southerly stations joined up on 40 metres. JS8's been trundling along during the week. I did increase my DX contacts from Mongolia to Australia with the VK5 ping both ways just before 1930 on one evening. It was a one and only though. And the other thing I've been doing is looking at ATUs. I've dug out an SDG ATU I had many years ago, which was designed for ALE. It has no buttons or anything like that, and is computer driven. The only snag being the software is latest issue was Windows 7. Tried to download the software, but Windows 10 and Windows 11 doesn't like it at all, as you may gather. So I dug out a very old Toshiba netbook, which had the software on it, which is an XP machine, which must be all 15 or 16 years old. I'll just take a break. back in, which had got the software on, so I'm planning to fire that up and set up the device. Once it's set up, everything is held in EEPROM, so it shouldn't need the PC connected all the time, and it has which is the attractive thing at the moment, I think, to on digital, because most APUs don't like more than about 30 or 40 watts of RF for some reason, presumably either peak power or peak voltage or what have you. Anyway, that's about it. But the amazing thing about the laptop was, and this is where I say they don't make computers like they used to. Last time I used it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and the battery had still got 70% capacity. So that's I don't think you'll find these days. G4NRC, G4K UK.
G4KUJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, that's interesting. Battery showing that high capacity. Even wondering at that age, was it lithium? Or was it something older? However, if it works, and it's got the ATU working, that's great. The RAYNET HFNets yesterday, yes, there was, I've done my report because it was, I'd say confusing, but it wasn't. By everything that was right and holy, 40 metres was meant to be the UK NVIS band, the optimal one according to all theories, but fading was making it very difficult, and some stations were unreadable down to the south from up here in Chester. And I wasn't getting heard very well either. And we go down to 60 metres, which should have been even better, or slightly better. And it was still fading, and it just started from the lower points. So, yes, not the best time for HFNet. Data loads would have had the patience and perseverance to dig through the fading and everything else, but for voice operation was a little difficult. I'm also wondering about antenna tuners, well, not so much the antenna tuner, but the 9-to-1 on and across at the end of my antenna. But I'm just noticing that the match is not stable. It will just flick up once in a while, so I'm wondering if I've got something arcing over in the on and I need to do something different. Right, down to the other participants on the HFNet then. Philip, Golf 4 Kilo with the Alima G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, G4KL. Yeah, well, as Trevor said, the E9 did speak on 60 metres about, I think, 10 minutes, I think it was almost, before everybody else came down there. It was interesting, I've been listening on 40, and, well, in fact, I've been listening on 40 for a while before. I had quite nice contact with a special event station in the Irish Army Apprentices or something, EI7DD, or something like that. And I got very nice contact with him about 20 minutes before the net was due to start. The close to 7110 was very busy, so I moved around and thought I found a nice patch on 7115. No, 7117 might have been. I can't remember. I know I found a bit of a patch, but I did some testing there, and then somebody else was coming up trying to call somebody else or something, so I gave that up. And I moved down to 7114. I think, as I gather, the net took actually place on 7113. I'm surprised I didn't hear anything. Whether that was just the way the skip was going or whatever, I don't know. But not only that, though, I mean, I thought fairly carefully listening and watching the waterfall and checking out on Hatchburn, and I didn't hear any other time. So that was really why after 10 minutes I abandoned 40 and went across to 60, which, as has been said, I then found Trevor on 60. And certainly, Trevor, I saw your call sign coming up on JSO this afternoon. I'm only running on with a 6-metre antenna and well, normally 5 watts. I did actually get it up to 8. I brought the big AND1 but turned the FT817 right down to minimum, and that apparently gives out 8 watts if I do that. But I was getting some stuff back from folk, but I didn't do any QSOs on it. So that was last week. Next week I should be on in hopefully with the voice one. And I think I mentioned the following week I'm likely to be on a train or switching trains or something like that at the time the net's taking part. So I may be able to sort of listen and maybe log something. And that's the data one. I might be able to do that, but I'm likely to be actually participating. The other thing to mention was I had the habit of providing a link between Microsoft Teams and our FM net to allow some of our local South Sussex folk to come in and join in with the net if they can't easily get in on FM. And with the changes taking place in terms of our relationship with Microsoft, I thought I would try a Google Meet. It worked fine. I only had one status link come up on it, but it did work fine. I think Google Meet on the basic one is limited to an hour though. I did wonder whether when the transition occurs and our call times go across to Google, whether we'll have a version of the Meet that runs longer, or whether we will be restricted to the hour if we. And there was my timeout. So I should have dekeyed earlier. Right, I hope it's come back up again so I can return it back to you in a clean way. G4RC, G4KIL.
For KIL, G for NRC returning. Oh, let's try doing this in reverse order. So Google, when we move RAYNET-UK email accounts to Google rather than Teams, it becomes a Google Workspace account. So I think it will run longer. I do have a Workspace account with a different organisation, but I might have to have a look and confirm that. Because although I would love it to work if we did have meetings, we're actually held down to the hour and didn't last any longer than that. So yeah, glad it worked, but at the audio interface level, that's the way it should have been. But I will have to have a look at the thing, Philip, so hold the thought or nag me on the net somewhere and see whether I've done a check to see if it will last longer. HF frequency selection, reminder, general education for everybody. HF frequencies are centre of activity. So 7.110 is the emergency centre of activity on 40 metres. I tuned up before the net and found a very, very strong Scottish station operating parks on the air. It was an overseas guy doing POTA, so it was Mike / call sign / portable. So he can't have been running very high power. He was really loud on 7109, which is why I moved up one channel, inverted comma channels worth, where 7113 was close. But it may just have been that the straight up, straight down wasn't working the way expected. I was having some difficulties contacting Henry, a local member of mine, G3HAK. I could hear him fine, he was struggling with me. But it's all part of the learning experience and doing the training and testing every week to confirm what's playing. Okay, more on that later, but we've got 2 to go on this round. So Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC.
This is G4HUF. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and to everybody else on the net. I should have been making notes earlier on because I'm sure there was something I was going to comment on with regard to the general news that you put out. But my grey cells have failed me and it's disappeared straight out of my head. As far as radioactivity is concerned, the only thing significant to report there is that due to an unfortunate incident on our street last Sunday night, it looks as though the Greater Manchester police radios that they use as personal radios on airwaves have been upgraded, because these things that were around seem to have very much larger screens on the set, which was curious, but I didn't investigate it any further in that regard. And of course, I'm glad you mentioned the event next weekend, although you didn't need to on this occasion because the first of my reminders on my calendar turned up today. So there's no way I'm going to forget it. All I've got to do is remind Patricia that I should be disappearing off to attend it. So, how about that for waffling about absolutely nothing for 10 minutes? On that note, I shall shut up and pass it back. G4NRC, this is G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning. Okay, well, glad I'll be seeing at the zone meeting, and you might call it a waffle, but you've actually put the required amount of pressure on me to be entertaining next Sunday, aka prepare the discussion topic for the morning. So we'll try and make that valuable. Airwave radios, well, they've never really performed to the potential of you should be able to do text messaging and this, that, and the other. So I can imagine the prolonged continued renewal of the airwave fleet until the new communication system comes along, which will all be mobile phone based, will be going on, and they will have made it bigger with maybe more information on just to try and fight back. But I've got to admit, I've not looked at them very closely recently. Was more taken by an article, a video I saw for the Irish police, the Garda, who were advertising their new computer-aided dispatch system, which pretty much did throw all the event information for a call off onto the guard's mobile phone. Everything was presented on a mobile terminal that they wanted to know or see, and it didn't have to be read out over the air. So people are progressing, and possibly in a good way. Okay, thanks Phil. Last one of this round. Sorry Alan, it's you. Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm used to being at the end. You need to start with the zeros and work up to the nines. That would be first. Just what I've joined in today. I normally listen, of course. But I'll call out today with a routine training thing. Star market half marathon stroke 10k. We had a glorious day, beautiful weather. Used a business mobile repeater for all the marshals to use, and we covered all the 2 meters FM and APRS, and a bit of dabbling of mesh call as well as to play, see how that was working. But we had 3 people from Essex RAYNET join us, which helped enormously, so I just wanted to give a shout out for them really. But that was a good day, a very good day. Well, on the next one, I'll probably listen to the end, but don't call me back in, Greg. Best 73 to you all. M0 JSA, back to listening.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 NRC returning. Yes, got the bridge back. Okay, well, glad that the weather stays good for your event today. And cross-border support is always useful. Find out how other people do the jobs. Yeah, we have on our half marathons difficulties in sort of rolling out PMR, but the PMR blind spots are about the same as the mobile phone blind spots. So I'm quite happy with RAYNET here being able to be seen to be filling in the gaps, but we can't do it for regular users, so we relay locally onto PMR for them rather than using a wide area system. Yeah, nice set of equipment used there. Sorry, Alan, no, if I start with zeros on the call-in, it will confuse everybody, and there are some people who will already miss their turn unless I time it just right, because they're used to being able to be a couple of minutes late. Okay, 73 to you, maybe talk to you next week. We shall go back to the top of the list for finals. Golf Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EEY. Yes, I've often wondered about providing systems in Norfolk, but it tends to come out as being rather expensive because of getting property allocations and paying for them, of course. Unfortunately, we don't get much money coming down from above. Yeah, I had a quick look at Google Works plans. It depends on whether it is Google Works workspace for non-profit that we're using. That seems to indicate a 24-hour maximum for a meeting, but it does indicate no recordings to Google Drive, so it depends on what we've got. I suppose we'll find out. But thanks for running the net, Greg. I'll go back to finding out why my little field book is giving me messages I don't want. From G8DEY.
Yankee, G4NRC returning. Thanks for checking out the Google Workspace plans. That will be of use. It'll break somebody's heart if we can't have meeting recordings, oh no. But yes, 24-hour meetings is something I wouldn't really want to wish on anybody, but it is a possibility. I'm still having little rolly eyes. There are other solutions out there, open source, but we need an IT team with depth that can maintain a lot of open source systems, which I don't think we're near at the moment. But okay, if we can have 24-hour meetings, then it certainly means Philips and nets are covered. Alright, thanks Mike. So I'm not sure whether we'll talk to you next week or not. It will depend on what happens with the zone meeting and what goes on. So, let's go to Graham, G7NEH, G4NRC.
G4NRC, G7NEH, yep. So, our view rate today on this net is we've had 22 views and we've got 8 concurrently viewing, and just having a quick look at the analytics for last week's net. Most of the views came from the United States, so it's about 45% from the United States and about 15% from UK. I'll do a bit more of a deep dive through the week and see if we can get those figures to you, Greg, and maybe they can publish them in the RAYNET news. So yeah, all looking good. The last couple of weeks, last week and this week, I have posted the link on the Facebook group. So how much that has had to do with promoting the net, I'm not too sure, but can only be a positive thing. Right, back to you. Thanks for running the net, and I'll catch up with you in the week. G4NRC, G7NEH.
NEH for NRC returning. Okay, that makes it strange if the pickup's been from the USA, because RAYNET in the UK and Aries in the States run very, very differently, given the different legislation, etc., and approach to volunteering. That's not a huge surprise. Okay, look forward to the details. We'll see about something that can go into the news, which drops there sometime around Wednesday lunchtime. But no rush, maybe do it as a longer thing, just to see what you can find out, what people's viewing patterns are, and we can just use it to promote the YouTube videos alongside the DMR net. And given we should have had one extra station today, we do need to talk to Guy about getting the Fusion link going again, because it looks like the Fusion bridge is down today, because somebody tried it. Okay, thanks Graham, and thanks for doing the streaming. Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, so how quickly will your cadets get good news then from G4NRC?
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. I need to read into the process really as to whether we can actually mark the papers there and then, because I know on all the other radio courses we can do that. But whether at the Foundation Radio License course that we stop being
Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, you dropped out all after the papers. Over. 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, over. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, trying to guess how long you're talking before you push the talk off, over. Victor Sierra Delta, got a very broken audio from you, unreadable, lost all after papers, so probably a good 30, 45 seconds worth. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, over. Any staying dropped. Okay, we shall try calling Stephen in at the very end of the net to see if we can get the completion of his over. Nathan, this is just a sideline of net controllers should keep an ear on what's going on, so when audio does get lost, try and remember to be able to tell people where you lost them so they can fill in the gaps and you're not repeating the whole over all over again. However, Mike 7 November Delta November is coming to you next, and I've seen your email come in for joining the DMR server. Because you've not used the RAYNET-UK address, there might be a couple of approval steps needed, so just keep an eye on your account handle the inbox when things get set up. Mike 7 November Delta November, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, this is Mike 7 November Delta November. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get into RAYNET in time for the old Microsoft Office emails, so it has just been put down on my RAYNET account as my email that I've emailed you from. Yeah, but really great obviously joining the net today, Greg. Really great obviously hear obviously what goes on, and hopefully I can get more involved. If you do need any help with obviously Google Workspace, I've got one myself. I have obviously used that, so if you need any hints or tips, feel free to let me know. I am obviously doing a with Liverpool as well in terms of like websites. So I'm obviously in the middle of developing that with G4 BDS as well. But yeah, really great to obviously speak to everyone today, and obviously I'm going to pass back to you, G4 NRC. This is Mike 7 November Delta November.
Yeah, G4 NRC returning notification push the top finger here. Okay, Nathan, thanks for that. Noticed experience with Google Workspace. And you've worked with Ian about the Liverpool website. That's good to know. Your RAYNET-UK email address, you will get one. It's just because they're in the middle of migrating 1,500 other email accounts over, which is happening real soon. Announcements will be out, but we're just not going to say when. And then we can catch up on getting the new members with RAYNET-UK email addresses, and that'll be sorted. But yes, it is just a feature, if you like, that anybody with a RAYNET-UK email address was a very easy approve onto the server, and then you could do your own thing because it's a personal email address. I think we've got to hit the button twice at different stages to make it work. But anyway, look forward to hearing you again on a future net, and 7-3 to you. Trevor, how's your audio going on, I'm wondering? G4KUJ, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, G4KUJ. I hope it's going alright. Quite a few funny noises this afternoon. The squawks, you've had them a couple of times on your transmissions as well, which is usually indicative of some collision somewhere in the system. Just to go back the battery on the laptop or the a handshake. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully, we shall spend some time. See if we can make that automatic. Did I drop out again then? G4 NRC, G4K UK.
G4 NRC returning. Lost all after battery on the laptop, and I know since you helped on the log, I do type in when I'm losing your audio. So there were 3 distinct breaks, and then it just totally lost it until you handed it back. So whatever's going on across a few nets now, first parts of your overs are fine, and then as time goes on, it just feels like your transmitted audio just gets a lot more broken. So to me, it feels like an endurance thing rather than any particular bit of setup. But possibly try that one again post-net. We'll bring this one to a close for the benefit of the stream and others of a couple of minutes. Anyway, good luck chasing the battery on the laptop down, and hopefully everything will work. Right, Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 NRC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC, G4 carrier. Yeah, well, that's very fine. Thanks for comments on the Google Mix. I'm certainly interested to hear what comes of that. Yes, I noticed that if you've got various categories of better than just single persons, where you can get generally 24 hours. I think a single person, when you can talk to one other person for 24 hours or something, but if it's 3 or more, it's limited to an hour. That seems to be what it was saying. I didn't need it for more than about 20 minutes on last Monday, so we did the time out, and it did work fine. Okay, very good. I'll leave it at that, and that might be there until next week, I gather. That'll be fine. I'll probably be up for that. But we'll wait and see. Okay, I'll set some trees and speak to you all again at some other stage. Incidentally, Greg, I must put my report into the HFNet. I haven't done it yet. I could just about hear you on 60 metres, so it wasn't doing too badly, because I often can't hear you at all. That was something. Okay, I'll set some trees and speak again in that whole time. G4 NRC, G4KL, we'll listen to the end of the net for clear.
IL G4 NRC returning. Okay, well, yes, if you did have just about managed to hear me on 60 metres, that's better than usual. I'm still dreaming of January next year when all copper phone lines are shut down and ADSL goes away. I've got a vague feeling that my noise floor locally has dropped by 6 or 10 dB on some bands as more and more people are moving on to fibre rather than copper. But until the process is totally complete, we won't have all these generators turned off for the little green boxes on the corners of the roads. So I'm hoping we'll get back to HF the way it used to be, but we'll see. What's a problem is that I have got SDR profiles of HF here that are going back before COVID, but with different antennas, so it's not the easiest to do a like-for-like comparison of what things used to be like. Okay, thanks Philip, and yes, it does feel like it's going to be ad hoc next week at this rate, so we shall see what happens. Okay, Phil, anything final from you? G4HUF, G4 NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. No, nothing exciting from me at this stage. I shall look forward to seeing you and the rest of the crew next Sunday. And the important thing I need to do now is to go downstairs and remind She Who Must Be that I will be going out next Sunday. Because I don't want to be doing it on Saturday night. You never told me. which is a common and frequent occurrence in this household. So that's the important thing to sort out now. And of course it's a case of get ourselves organised and disappear out, because Bruce is cooking tonight and his scran is normally pretty good. So on that note, I shall say 7 threes and look forward to next weekend. This is G4HUF.
Again, G4HUF, G4NRC. Okay, yes, well, we can always get Pat on the radio as well. She can always listen to the net, even if she doesn't want to take part from downstairs. But, okay, not a problem. Look forward to seeing you next week. I have no idea how the meeting's going to progress, but because we have people that can't do the Sunday mornings, the business bits will be in the afternoon. So possibly prepare for an extended lunch as we talk our way through issues and all the problems people have got. We'll see how that goes. Right, the hanging thread. Mike 7, Victor Sierra Delta, 7 VSD. I wonder if you've improved your location, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, looks like Stephen's possibly been locked out of the repeater that normally accesses through. So we shall bring it to a close. You can tell basketball season still, or basketball games still aren't home games yet. So you've got another couple of weeks until those restart. So shorter nets when we get back into the remainder of the season there. Meanwhile, thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedules to participate in this afternoon's net. Be careful and have a good week until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours, where there's probably going to be an ad hoc net. I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net and return talk groups 23531 on Pheonix and Brandmeister and 502331 on the RAYNET-UK system, back to being an open net rather than a directed net. 7-3 all, this is G4 and RC now closing, reverted to my normal course line of Colt 0, Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.